Morning, good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee. I'm very sorry I am extra late today. I've got there in the end. I was trying to find one of the settings and I gave up. I am sort of straight out of bed as well, so excuse the frizz. So welcome if you are new here or if you need a reminder. This is our weekly show where I just talk about what's been happening in the bad Squiddo land in the week. Any new cool stuff, any show. I've got a little stack of show and tells there. And you can all talk to each other as well in the chat because there's always lots of lovely people in the chat. So it's just a nice chilled little hangout. So I was very roughly scribbling some notes just before this, so at least had something. So it wasn't a show of just me going, which happens occasionally. I think that may have happened last week. So there's a lot to cover. Gary likes the mug of, I'm sure more than Gary, but also the mug of the week. Mug of the week. Get it? Week. So we do have that still a little bit hot though. So I'll give it a slurp. Sharky recognising the 40th anniversary only Model Army t-shirt. Yes, that is correct. Excellent. Good spot. Um, so this week, been very wibbly, and I've had the little mild mentals relapse in the week. But don't worry, if it was that bad, I wouldn't have had a show, and I did ponder cancelling the show, but I've actually got lots of really cool stuff to talk about. So it's all worked out in the end. Um, Week indeed, yes. Right there. So, where do I begin? So, this mug, Gary, is it's not a bad Squiddo mug, but it is by I'm gonna have to lift it, aren't I? Calf Kidson. It's one of the fancy ones, I think. I got it as a gift, but there's a whole range of Peegs like that. So you can also go on our Redbubble, where I think there's Pegasi mugs now as well. I need to promote that as well. Let's look. So, um, due to being in a very, very, very weird mood all week, I've ended up not being in the office that much because I had to do the cut the losses, go home. But whilst being at home, I've actually created more this week than I have in possibly years. So there's loads of cool stuff to show like that, including these things that are on my desk right now. Might even show you. So I could work backwards. Yesterday morning, I woke up about 3 o'clock and then I loitered about for a bit. And then I thought, I'm just going to get up. So I got up and I painted for like a good 4 hours just this morning, as well as doing some other bits and bobs. It wasn't solid painting. And I've been going, what do I just want to paint? It doesn't have to be for anything. Um, I just want to do it. So what I started yesterday, I wanted to finish it, but I just got too tired, so I'm going to finish today, hopefully. Oh yeah, realised it is in shot. I've been hoping I was holding it out shot. What, am I small or is this large? Do, 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 do. It is a free up mantic ghoul that I have had for about 15 years, whenever they were the old hand behind trick. Go on, go on. Just wanting to look at my face. Look at the ghoul. There we are anyway. Oh yeah. So this free up from Mantic, they did a limited run, and hey, Rob's here. We did a limited run of them when they came out. They occasionally, I think, the only people I know who really do this, where you can get a resin cast of the free up. And I don't think it's really a thing, even if it was a thing, because everything's done digitally now. Somebody asked me earlier what free ups were, and I realised it's probably not that common. I'm not sure if they do it digitally because you kind of sculpt in there. So I had this. I've also got the skeletal dog and the skeleton free up. I bought them all. And this was when I was brand new back to the hobby, and I'd only just found Mantic and gone, wow, look at all this cool undead. And throwing it around. It's so cool just looking at him. Um, and I painted the skeleton up into a piece of terrain, which is really cool, but I've no idea where it is. I think it might be in the garage, but it was one of my favourite pieces of terrain because it was gold on top of the old. I think it was it was Warhammer. I can't remember. Oh, it had like a throne on top, and it was a cliff made of skulls. So I put the gold skeleton on the top, and then there was a little skeleton warrior, like he'd crawled to the top to pay tribute and then just collapsed. And I was always really happy with that piece of terrain, so I will try and find it. But the ghoul I always kept because I thought, I don't know what to do with it. It feels like it needs to be done in a special way, and that kind of goes against. I'd rather just get paint on stuff. So I thought it's time to paint that ghoul, and I'm not going to put it into a unit filler. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to paint it like that because it comes. So if anyone's used Mantic, I don't know if they still do it. I imagine so, where they come like this, and then they slot into like a little circle bit in the base. So that's what this is, just scaled up. But it makes a nice little plinth for it. So I've got a bunch of. I've just been chucking some inks on, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that so far. His face. So I painted a chunk of that yesterday morning. Hopefully finish that tonight or this afternoon. And also, I am one of the first people, if not the first, depending on everyone else's people. Some people might have painted. I've just not seen it yet. The bunny copter. So I'm really chuffed. I've nearly pretty much done the fur on the bunny copter, and I'm really happy with it because I'm not very good at doing realistic type stuff. Again, you won't see him because he's blurry. Well, that actually focused that time. It's a webcam, so I don't know why it's. I think it's just because I stream straight through YouTube and it's noob level, as they say. So I have painted the bunny. I'm not going to see it, are you? I've painted the bunny in a nice natural way. So he's like a pet that somebody's then made a little Connects harness for, which is quite sweet. So the rest of it's not finished, but it's getting there. And then I'm going to tuft. So that's the join there, and I'm just going to tuft around the join as well. And I love that he's only floating a little bit, and there's a lot of drag. I really like the drag of the skin that Alan sculpted there. We'll never get to see this, will we? A little flash, a little teaser. But the folds are really lovely, and no one's really seen that yet because you've only seen it in the bare resin, if you've seen it at all. Because I've only had it for pre-order, a very few amount, like 4 at Salute, and I had some at Partisan. But it's time. It's time for the bunny copter. So this is going to be a release probably alongside the Gunny Warpeegs. It currently is the Warpeegs release. So look at that, and there's the little bombs. Oh. So I'm really chuffed with that. So let me know what you think. So I painted those 2 yesterday morning. This was just, I sprayed it cream and just started putting loads of different brown washes on it and looking at pictures of bunnies online. So that was cool. So I painted those. I'll show you all the things I've painted before we begin. Because these helped me out this week, because otherwise I'd have had like the worst week, but it's kind of made up for it, I think. I was really struggling at work to get anything done, and I was getting in a bit of a state, so I thought I'm just going to go home. So I'm glad that I cut my losses, because you have to sometimes. It's like, I'm not well, I'm going to go home. That's what I would do if I was physically ill. What am I looking for? My gallery. In fact, I could show you. I do this button and then this button. It's very high quality here, as always. And maybe I'll bring him up on my little. Oh, yeah. I've put it on my Instagram. I haven't got the model here because it's the office. But I painted up this. Whoa, this guy from Mammoth Miniatures, and it's got the skeleton from the dragon fossil set from Bad Squiddo. But I wanted to paint this massive ghoul from Mammoth Minis up for ages, so I did, and I did it in one. If I can do stuff in one setting, it's going to happen. If it takes more than one session, it's hard. So that's why I'm absolutely going to try and will get these done tonight, because otherwise they become doomed to the work in progress pile. So there's another little. There's all on. So I set up another Instagram account called Raging Annie the Ghoul, and I've not linked it from the main account or anything because that. Don't want my lovely World War II fans to be like, what is this monster? Also, the thing she's painted. but this is where I've been posting a lot of the stuff. So I've got a nice little creative outlet, but it's not directly linked to Bad Squiddo. So there's another picture of it. I have become reunited with my two best friends, Tamia Clear Red and Tamia Smoke. Jez says the skin looks awesome on the ghoul. What did you use? Pretty much the same as I've been doing on this Mantic ghoul. Obviously, I like ghouls a lot. Oh, is that one? What? I went to the hairdresser yesterday with Curtis from Ramshackle Games. I'll tell you about that in a minute as well. We didn't get eyes done though. So yeah, you got lost and damned. Everyone else who has come along and found us. If you've kind of stumbled across us, where did you stumble? Because I want to know if anyone gets notifications or if you just kind of have an alarm set and come along, because that would be interesting. So for the big ghoul, I think it was the same. I sprayed a white bone from Colourforge because I got that there. And then just put loads of I think one was like I've got loads of different brands, so it's all like Flesh Wash, Ready Wash. I think I put a tiny bit of purple wash and then just kind of dry brush. And because they're big, especially when you're doing the earlier bits, I don't know you can see here, when there's a big space, where it sort of congeals up, I've just been just been rubbing it off with my hands to do the little highlights along the way. So that's been working. So I realised, yeah, it turns out I actually like making stuff. Without purpose seems to be the goal. Pandemonium says, Tammy, your clear red always looks ace, but the fumes give me a nasty headache. Oh, I was loving the fumes. They were quite pleasant. So everything now has got blood dripping off it. Now I'm back on those paints. They are wicked. The other thing I was really pleased I managed to get finished, which is now over on Bad Squiddo Games. I just had to bring it up in my gallery. Forgot. 8 million photos is what we've got. Where did it begin? Oh, they're all. Sorry, I'm being absolutely useless today. They're not on my phone because they were on my camera. Let's have a look. Also, should have a sip of coffee, but I want to give you some more quality content first. So I painted this this house from Snapdragon, and I am so happy with it. Again, you'll never see it properly on these little previews, but it's all, if you like it, it's all over social media, so you can go have a proper look at the photos. It's one of those big resin lumps. I first started painting it ages ago, if you can remember, because I got the base paint down, and then again, it never got finished. So I've been like, okay, let's just finish everything, shall we? Let's get rid of all these half-baked projects by finishing them. So I did a bunch of highlights on it, whacked a load of tufts on, which took a while, but it worked out. And obviously I've got access to all those gamers grass tufts. And then, surprisingly, I wasn't really happy with the paving stones because they didn't look real. And then I was mucking about with kraut cover stocked by Bad Squiddo Games. And I've been obviously all over the bony ones and the bony ones and like Soil of Sparta I really like. But I'd kind of written off a few, well, not written off, but it's just like, that's not interesting enough for me. So Copious Earth was one where I was like, it's just dirt. I will happily sell you the dirt. But I was like, I'm not going to use just dirt. I want to use it if it's got something like pizzazz in there. And this is now my new favourite dirt. So I put it over the paving stones, put a little bit of water on, and kind of smeared it in. And then, like, again, did the like rubbing it off a little bit. And it's worked. And it looks like it's a really lovely trodden in path. And I'm really happy. And then I decided to put it all over the top because you've got like mud sort of starts accumulating on these flat surfaces. It's probably like a cliff above the house, I'd imagine. So there is a picture of, again, you'll never see it. There's a picture of the paving bit that looks like a photo, I think. Looks really nice. And yes, then I dabbled all that around the top bit, and it just went from looking quite cartoony to just really nice. So I'm happy with that. There's the back of it. The back of it's really nice too. Yes, Snapdragon says, go. There's a name I've not heard in a long time. Yeah, I was given it about 12 years ago, I think. And my friend Ed Morris, who gave me it, said that I could have it as long as I absolutely, definitely paint it. So in all my clear outs and moves and stuff, I've kept it because I've got to keep my promise to Ed Morris. So I've finally done it, and I sent him the pictures, and he was like, "Yes." It's like, so it's like Ed Morris is proud. Therefore, it is good. It is all good. And let me just sip this coffee, the milkiest coffee in the world. Really, if anyone ever comes across some Snapdragon stuff but doesn't want it, but you just see it somewhere and it's not £1 million, can you like pick it up for me? I'll give you the money as long as it's not £1 million and it's something cool because I'd love to add it to the collection. Just if you're at a bring and buy or something and you're like, oh. Um, I've got nothing to tick off yet. So I painted those up, tufted those up. I wasted a lot of time just generally struggling this week. So again, when I don't have much to update, I don't like doing a show because I just feel like I don't want to just go and I was really sad all week. Um, but I have, I say, made up for it. I've made my sadness productive, as you must apparently. Um, what else did I make? I got a very small pack of Inktense pencils that I used to be a really big fan of. And I did my first little drawing painting that I've done in about 15 years, maybe a little bit less, maybe 14 years. So I do my crappy doodles that everyone likes to mock for community minis, which I don't put tons of effort into like them as art pieces because they exist practically to design the miniatures. So I haven't drawn in that sort of expressive way in a very long time. I've just had this urge to start trying to do stuff again. So I've got this little pad because the paper curling used to always annoy me, but I didn't want to do anything that involves loads of setup because then it won't happen. So I've got this little pad. And if you've seen my Instagram story this week, you'll have seen the tales of Old Man Shroom and his love for the snails. I made a little story about it. And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint Old Man Shroom as a little bit of fun, just to figure out how to use the pens again and all that sort of thing. So look at that! Look, oh, I wish I'd put a snail mouth on the front one, but I'm not going to mess about with it now. So it was like a relearning how a lot of the stuff works, but I was really happy with that in the end. Look at this. Before I get on to more art, I will address. Andrea said, you mentioned community minis, and that made me remember any news about Olga. Yes, Olga, Mary, and Anne are all at the casters, but the guy in charge of the casters has been very ill. Not mega ill, but like poor boy ill rather than like, life threatening. Um, Oh yeah, Dan. So Dan de Gerzen there. He got these step-by-step updates. You got the live thing for it because I was like, dang, I think I'm gonna draw Old Man Shroom, and then you got the whole like step-by-step thingy of it. So you've got the behind-the-scenes creation where I was like, am I drawing? Does it work? Oh, it's working! Yay! I think I will put him on my Redbubble because then you could buy him as prints. You could buy him as a little book if you wanted as well. It's not what it was for, but yeah, if I put it on there, then it's just if people want it, they can have it without me having to then put money in or anything. So yeah, I might start doing that sort of thing. I kind of want to do some of my Chaos Gnomes artwork as well because that's just kind of existing, and it's a very similar style. So yeah, I want another coffee, the same coffee. So I'm very inspired by Old Man Shroom. He was vying, I think, to be the next Turkey Man, but Turkey Man got a little bit like, and then yeah, that could be the next bit. Him and Turkey Man fighting, and he's kind of like got to whack him with the head of the Shroom bit, and Turkey Man. Um, so Old Man Shroom, I can tick off. Woo! I haven't got my notes of the week, but I think partly, well, the bonus to it being a weird week is that I did a weird amount of hours. It's like 14 hours on Monday. Um, so at least I got loads of stuff done that day before the rest of the week. So it was a bit of a write-off. Done the basics. I've got the orders out. Um, done a few bits and bobs. I can't think off the top of my head because they're not here. But I drew some shroomy guys. I've got a haul of stuff. I This book arrived in the post, which is very good timing after being at Bletchley Park. Brand new. Claire Hubbard Hall is a first-time author, so this is her debut, and obviously there's lots of Bletchley Park info in there, and some very good reviewers, which is always good. It's good when I recognise the names of the people that say it's good. I'm like, oh yes. So that's your interest called The Forgotten Women of British Intelligence. Since the inception of the Secret Service Bureau back in 1909, women have worked at the very heart of British secret intelligence, yet their contributions have all been written out of history. Now drawing on private and previously classified documents, leading historian Claire Hubbard Hall brings their gripping true stories to life. Find out about the chief of MI6, oh no, not the chief, Kathleen Pettigrew, personal assistant to the chief of MI6, Stuart Menzies, who later in life declared, I was Miss Moneypenny, but with more money. More money, more power. Yeah, there's loads. Wilfred Spink, what an amazing name. I'm a fan of old names. So that book came, so that's again, I'm trying to get myself, well, I am already G'd up for some World War II researchy stuff because I need to start putting lists. Oh no, I went off. I was talking about the community minis. I'm very sorry, Andres. So they've all gone to the caster, but they haven't been molded yet because I think he wants to personally oversee them, particularly Anne Bonny and they're all going in the same mold. So hopefully very soon. The painter John is prepped, so as soon as I've got some working casts of them, basically, they're going straight to him. I need to get those cards ordered, which is priority from the day. It's been on priority all week, and it's kept going to the next day because I've just it's not been happening. But oh no, it's October. I said it'd be Sep October. It'll definitely be November, and then those three will be out. Um, what else? What else? I went to the Dark Arts Market yesterday. So I met up with Mr. Curtis of Ramshackle Games because he's in town, and I thought, don't get to see Curtis well, I don't see Curtis very much. I have my own choice. So I thought, I'm going to go pop over. I'm going to see if he's got anything weird to sell me. Um, so I went over there. Look at this. And then we ended up going for breakfast, and then we went to the Dark Arts Market, whilst making him do some errands with me along the way. So I'm getting my hair done next week, and so I needed to go past the hairdressers because they like smear a thing on you to see if you're going to have a massive allergic reaction, like the ones you hear about in the news. So I had to pop by there. So yeah, it's like me and Curtis going to the hairdressers. So that was really nice. And then we went to the Dark Arts Market, which was the best market I've been to, which was dangerous. I ended up not looking around the entire thing because I found what I wanted and ran away pretty much. So I went to see, I can't pronounce this, Perfidious Jewelry. It's on today as well. Um, Perfidious Jewelry, who is Lisa Ward, who runs the exhibition at Warhammer World, because everyone there has some sort of side hustle. So this is the side hustle. It's not a secret. It's very, very well known. So she runs a little jewelry company. It's a little jewelry company. Right, the size. The jewelry is small. So I purchased that from her. Can you see it? It's a little teapot. It's a little teapot, and it's a little pin, so you can put it in your hair, clothes. I think I'm going to put it in my jacket. I think that would be very cute. So I mostly went to say hello and see her. It says here, put on your jumper, hat, scarf, tie, bag, coat, cardigan, lapel, even in your hair. Perfidious jewelry. Yeah. Um, So I went to say hello to her and to Sophie Williams of Needy Cat, who is currently War Cradle. So she has a company called Vaulted Fantasies. So I thought I would go and support her also. Where are these things? Where are her prints? So I saw her, which was nice. I also saw James and their child. Their child. Why am I terrible at child's names? And their dog Rosie. Why can't I get child's names? Maybe if they got paid more, they wouldn't need side hustle. Um, so I got these as a gift for someone who's probably not watching, hopefully. If you ever receive anything I've shown up on the channel, pretend you haven't seen it. So I got these prints, the lino prints from Sophie. And I also got this. What did I buy yesterday? And these little stickers. Whee! That's a skull, a ram skull Squiddo, so gotta have that. So on my keys. I'm gonna have another sip of the coffee. Watch Annie awkwardly sip coffee. These people didn't give me a card, and I forgot to get one, but it was really cute. Little badge. And then, oh no, before that, I found this stand, and they specialised in sculpted rodents. So I chatted to them for a while. Sonia Turner, ceramic sculpture. You're never going to see it on there. Eh? I'm going to follow all of these. So just go to my following on Instagram or wherever and go by recent, and you'll find a bunch of them. She had guinea pig stuff and capybara stuff, and I was very tempted. Say they'd recently got guinea pigs, so got into the guinea pig world. But I was on the I'm gonna save my money, hold off. You're supposed to be getting other people things, not for yourselves. So finding sculptors that like guinea pigs was very good. So they're awesome. And it's all on today, so if you're anywhere near Nottingham, you can still head up at 12 till 5. And then dangerously, I discovered Grace Moth, who is everywhere as Grace Moth artist. Um, just reading that. And this is where it got a little bit dangerous. So yeah, so they make stuff like this. So I ended up having a big splurge at them about how much I love guinea pigs. I gave them one of my guinea pig stickers. Talked about how I also am a fan of winged guinea pigs and all the such, and sort of said about what we do. And then bought everything they had with guinea pigs on it. So I've got this little dangly thing. And then anything, I was like, acrylic pin, yes, there is a cute pig. You can't really see. I was like their perfect customer, I think. I used my knowledge of trade shows to bring the correct cash, so I had lots of change, so everyone was really happy with me. I think this could be a hamster, but it could also be a pig. Got that. Ooh, I got Gandalf. Gandalf. Shit. Oh, I've dropped an important one there. No, that's the thing. Wait. So I'll show you that one after the rest. So Vampig! I was like, oh my god, someone else that's Vampigged. So I'm going to message them as well afterwards and actually show, because I was just telling them my things. Look at that, that's a weasel there. Pig, oh, I got another pig one. Oh, pig stuff. I've got all the things as prints as well. So I've got more pigs. Vampig. Gandalf pig. I really like black and white Gandalf pig. So I'd already been going, oh my god, I love guinea pigs as well, and having the little guinea pig chat. And then I saw this. So hang on. Whoop. Just are they in my mind? How are they in my mind? So I said I put it a bit more politely. I said I've recently written a little love story about a little mushroom creature that falls in love with a snail. This is their child. This is their child. this is their child. So that was funny. And by that point, I went, no, that was the money. I was, yep. So I'll go now. I'm not going to look at anything else because the money has gone. Um, so I had a little look about. I'm going to just drink this. Then on my journey, I then met up with a few people, including Googly Eyed, who's in the chat there. Um, I've written Andy's Blender, but I read it as Andy's Bleeder, and I went, "Oh no, no, Andy's Blender." Um, and we also met John Hartman, who I didn't know who he was. The whole I just thought you were a guy, and then he was telling me all his various anecdotes of composing for all of this massive stuff. I was like, "Oh, you are a guy, like a big deal guy." So that was really nice. So ended up having a really nice whole day. So I had a really nice evening. Also, we hung out at the pub and chatted about lots of really, 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 really interesting stuff, which I hadn't planned because I thought I was just going to go to the dark arts market and then head home again. Um, so that was cool. Oh yeah, Christmas. Curtis had abandoned me by then anyway. Andy's bleeding. Oh, it's gone. And Andy, this thing here. Andy got a brand new mega food processor for his birthday, right, from his mum, and he broke it straight away. And he maintains it was a manufacturing error, but I said it was because he doesn't know his own Hulk-like strength. So before he went and did a million cakes last week, he he uh, he managed to break it and then went, got to do it all manually now. Let me just drink this. Um, but his story, the reason I mentioned it was if you've seen the Margaritaville episode of South Park, that's exactly the journey that Andy has been on this week. So he was trying to get a refund or a replacement for this blender, and it kept being like, "Oh no, we're not the company. We're the other company. You need to go to this company." So he's been through all these different help desks. At which point I said I would have given up, accepted my losses because I cannot handle that. But he diligently has got through. He said there's loads of like, I think it's Kenwood, and he was like, "Oh, there's Kenwood, then there's Kenwood Supplies, then there's these different Kenwood, then there's someone who's not even Kenwood, but they're a promoted link on on Google, and he's got it. It arrived today, so fair play, Andy, the man of like absolute resilience, because there's no way. But it's been such a weird. I've been getting my daily updates on the blender situation, and it's yes, that's been fun. So Andy's blender, not bleeder. Um, I also, I've been given a photograph. I also met a very nice cat that I think became a fan of me. Where are we? Oh, there you are. There you are. Hang on, I'll get some context first. Meeting a cat is always a really good thing. Good sign of a good day. Check out this. Oh. So yeah, this kitty is a big fan. So I then ended up accidentally making a sculpt from that cat, um, which has become this of cat. It was a lovely matted cat hair creature, and there he is, looking very proud of his child. There, look at that. So all days that have putting googly eyes on cats has got to be a bonus. Um, so what else? Um, Friday, I met Arza, who came from Finland. She's been doing some research for I can't remember what it is, maybe doctorate. She's been going around spending some time on a research, so like a research grant thing around the UK. Pencil. Um, So she came over on Friday, and it was actually a really nice end to Friday because I probably wouldn't have gone in Friday if she wasn't coming, because I was still in the like, nah. But it kicked me up the arse to go in, and then kicked me up the arse to tidy because I was like, she can't see this. This isn't a good representation. Probably is a good representation of me if it's a bit of a mess. Um, but there's the two levels of mess, isn't there? It was getting a bit bad. It's getting a bit depressing in there. So we had a really nice chat. So that was lovely. So if she ends up watching this, thank you for coming over. And not long after she'd left, I kind of finished my tidying up and buggered off. So not a ton of bad Squiddo actually happened this week. Um, so I'm pleased that um, my Wibble was very close to being a like the biggest Wibble in at least the year. I've kind of got it back, I think. I don't think I'm entirely in the clear, but I feel a bit more myself today, so that's really good. Um, so I'm pleased. So hopefully what happens is I've just accepted now that I'll have weeks like this where I don't get much done, and instead of beating myself up about it, I know that next week I'll probably be in some sort of beast mode and get loads of things done. So it's all fine. And I'm really glad I just took the time to have a bit of time for myself because I don't do that very much. And I'm hoping to do that today rather than like the last few Sundays where I've just gone back to bed and slept because I've been so sleepy and I don't know what that's about. Um, Last Sunday after the stream, when I said what I don't want to do is go back to bed and sleep, I did till about 5 o'clock. And then it's like, oh, then the Sunday's gone. Cool. So having that time in the week to not be sleeping but to just be doing something that makes me happy, ghouls always, and I love this, and I love that I've got the honor of having one because I don't think there were many made or anything. You definitely can't buy them now unless they're on like someone's got them on eBay. um, so I'm going to be really happy to finish this, drink some coffee, have a little bit of the chores. Yeah, I was starting to get concerned because my medication staves off quite a lot of particular weirdery. But the particular weirdery was coming back, which is not what normally happens. I normally get the just like a little some sad to varying degrees, but it was a lot more than that. It was a lot different. Yeah, without going fully into all of my weird mental health stuff, I was actually getting a bit worried and a little bit concerned. But I'm hopefully back on the mend without that becoming a major thing. Because without the current medication, there is no way that I could be running this business, and that's how big a deal it all is. And to never mention it would seem farcical because it is part of me, part of the business. One of the reasons some weird stuff happens sometimes, cool weird stuff though, like also not Turkey Man because that was actually Phil, but the canonization of Turkey Man, the old man Shroom and his snail, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, Mantic. And this kind of symbol. I was about to get teary there. This kind of symbolizes when I first got back into the hobby, and I will happily tell my tale of wickedness that this is how the ghoul thing ended up starting. Mantic were brand new, and they did a deal. I don't know if I don't think I've spoke about this publicly. Mantic did a deal. So I was at university. I was a child at university, and Mantic did a deal with Wayland Games, right? Where if you subscribe to their newsletter, you'd get sent a free sprue of ghoul. The new Mantic ones, which were these, but obviously 28 mil. And I might have. Some could say I exploited it. Some people could say that I got people I know to all sign up for it. That I might have posted on forums and just got sent basically an entire ghoul army courtesy of Wayland. But that is just vicious rumor that cannot be proved in any way. So that was how I first ended up with a million ghouls, and it was a million Mantic ghouls. And then ghoul stuff sort of spiraled from there. So this does remind me a lot of my early days back in the hobby when I refound it, found that there were other companies other than Games Workshop, because that was all very new to me. I was like, who are these guys? and someone was like, "They've got a sculptor that used to sculpt for Games Workshop." I was like, "What?" And it was this whole like mind blown sort of thing. Um, so that's a nice sort of positive. And a lot of stuff I've been up to, like the paintings, all been quite emotional this week as well. So then I've just ended up on a bit of a spiral from that. But in a nice way, I think it's all kind of worked out in the end this week. So that's good. What have I got there on the rest of my notes? So the plan for next week, I'm going to be writing my plan up. I might do that first actually before I get into some painting. The plan for next week is we have Nottingham Industry Meet at the start of the week on Tuesday, if anyone's watching it and is relevant to it. So we have our meetups once a month, and I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to catch up with some usual people. I'm going to meet Dylan from Gaming for Good, who I've not met before, which would be really nice. And then I think I'm just going to be on a bit of a crunch next week to get a lot of bits and bobs done. And then next weekend, I'm hoping next weekend I'm going to do Sunday morning coffee with friends. So I'm running a playtesting weekend at my house. It's not a major thing. I've got some friends coming over, and we're going to be playtesting through various bits of Warpeegs. So there's some more changes I want to make to the rules before then. So we're going to be rules crunching in the week with Nick Barker, the writer, and we're going to get through a whole bunch of that. So by the time people come, by the time people are here at the weekend, then we can get the most out of it, basically. So I'm going to be quite focused on that next week. What else? So yeah, when I stream, I might still, because I wasn't going to do it, and I thought, oh, there'll be people here. That'll be really nice. I could get some guest stars on and show you a little bit of what's happening. So that actually could be pretty nice. Got the deal on, which I don't think a single person has taken up yet. But if you buy 6 spooky things, you get one of them free. So if you buy 5, you get the 6th free, and it automatically works out on the website. There's a whole section on the website where you can do that. It shows you, and you can also add anything else, but that's where the code is applied. So it's a particularly spooky deal. Yeah, I don't think anyone's actually done it yet, and I had to pay for an app that upgrade to the website that allowed me to do it, so I've lost money on it. So maybe that's one won't work. I'm always trying to find ways of doing deals that aren't just blanket percentage off, because I always think it just must be annoying if you just bought something and then the sale happens. Whereas if it's things like bundles, it's not instantly comparable. But that's there. There's the brand new Mushroom guys are on there. Brand new Wild West ladies, the Saloon Raiders, the goodest girl in the galaxy, who is the bestest. She is the bestest. With a non-docked tail, because you don't have to dock tails in your fantasy lands, funnily enough. But everyone does, and it's one of my pet peeves. Pet peeves? Oh, pet peeves has got to be some sort of rule in Warpigs. See? Always on. It's got to be it. Yep. It's full of puns. Nick, who's writing it, wrote undetermined. It's a undetermined. It's a mining game. So that's full of really like puns, and I'd like to have quite a lot of that. So pet peeves has got to be something in there. So that is the ramble. It's 11 o'clock. I really am tired. I hope I don't go back to bed. The weather's all right, so I might go out in the garden. That might perk me up a little bit. One of the days I went home early, I did do a bunch of the garden strimming, so maybe that keeps the brain at bay. That's all for now. So it's going to be busy next week, but if you come along on Sunday, there will be some guest stars. Hopefully, and it'll all be fun. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to write my plan up, and I'm going to go on the sofa and finish this coffee, and not the bed. Sofa, not bed. Mandy is at TSN, as he is every weekend. He is playing Age of Sigmar. I did invade it slightly yesterday. I got to do the official opening to it instead of it was my event, which was quite funny. I don't think anyone there knew who I was either, so that was extra. Right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for coming along. Do a little like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. and I will see you soon. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for being ace and keeping me on, like, let's say the straight and narrow, but I'm never on the straight and narrow. So goodbye. Bye.